Okay, so folding phones. The LG G8x is one of them, but not entirely so. This made rounds in the news recently for getting a huge price cut here in India, and that explains this sticker saying Festive Edition. On the back, there's some regulatory information about the phone, along with minimal branding. There's only the 128GB version with 6 gigs of RAM available here. This phone is made in Vietnam and not Korea, unlike many other LG flagship phones. And that clarifies the point that this phone is not 5G compatible. Strange. This seal isn't broken, so let's cut it open now. Sliding it out, there's a cleaning cloth. Unusual, but a nice move, I guess. Let's set aside the phone for now. Digging in deeper, you can see here that LG's gone full Apple here by taking out the charging brick. But the headphones are here to stay, so that's a good thing. In this other box, there's some documentation along with a soft TPU case, which might turn yellow eventually, only time will tell. The charging cable is a 3 feet USB Type-C to Type-A cable, so you can use that with any old charger that's lying around. The earphones in the box feel premium with some high-end textures. It's also got an inline microphone with volume controls and also a media button. The design is a standard glass sandwich with Gorilla Glass 5 on both sides. The back has a slightly bluish tint to it, even though this phone is marketed as a black color phone, and to be honest, it kind of looks cool. There's no camera bump and the back is completely flush, so it sits very flat on the table and it doesn't wobble around, unlike most of the flagships being sold right now. Okay, now it's time to get to the good stuff. The thing that makes this phone stand out. The second screen. This second screen doubles up as a case for the phone and it comes in its own box. But get this, LG sells the second display and the phone separately in a few countries. This being the showcase feature of this phone, it's again an unusual move. But here in India, it's all being sold together, so we don't have to worry about that. This display case has two additional screens, a small notifications display in the front and a full-size display on the inside. The one on the inside also has a notch to make things look uniform, I guess, but I'm not sure if that was the greatest move. You have to decide for yourself. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Now, the second display also comes with its own magnetic connector. MagSafe, is that you? Despite there being two screens, I think the magnetic connector is the one that is the most satisfying thing on this phone. So you can leave it connected to the USB-C cable and just snap it to charge. Now let's talk specs. The G8x sports a 6.4-inch G-OLED display, a gold display, with an identical second screen. All the glass on here is Gorilla Glass 5, but I have to admit, the front panel on the display case is Fingerprint City, so you might want to hang on to that cleaning cloth. The two screens have QUAD HD displays with very pleasing contrast ratios, but my camera was able to pick up this slight irregularity in between the two displays. The secondary display just looks a tad bit too dull. Even at full brightness, my eyes weren't able to make it out, but the camera was able to pick it up. It's got a dual camera setup on the back with a 12 megapixel primary shooter and a 13 megapixel super wide angle 136 degree secondary. There's also optical image stabilization in the rear primary camera. Portrait mode is enabled too, and it can also record 4K 60 frames per second with HDR10 enabled. The front-facing camera is a 32 megapixel shooter with a bunch of advertised AI selfie features. All of this is powered by the Snapdragon 855, which isn't the latest, but it still is very fast. This paired with 6 gigs of RAM is the perfect combo and is something to die for at this price point. All the buttons have great access and they are very clicky even with the case on. It's also got an extra button which by default summons the Google Assistant, but it can be remapped. It's also got a headphone jack, which is still a good thing in 2020. But if your phone doesn't have one, which is most likely the case, and you need a pair of Bluetooth headphones, make sure you check out a few of my other videos linked in the top right corner right here, and also down in the description. This phone's also got an IP68 rating, so you don't have to worry about dust or water around this guy. The fingerprint sensor is under the display and it also has NFC built in. It does have dual SIM capabilities, but the second SIM slot doubles up as a micro SD card slot, which is not the best thing in the world. But what is the hinge does fold a whole 360 degrees on this phone without a taper. So it looks great even when the secondary display is folded all the way back. Now this phone isn't the perfect one out there. Other than the really long first boot, there were a few hiccups too. The dual screen feature is not supported by all apps yet, and even the ones that do support this end up looking odd in most cases just because of that large bezel in between the two displays. The screens could have been brighter given that they are OLED panels, but if you are indoors most of the time like we are right now, it shouldn't be a problem. And man, this phone is really heavy. It feels very bulky too, it's like a brick in your hand. And with this size of a phone, the display on the front could have been just slightly bigger and displayed a bit more information. Right now, it feels just too cramped up here. But at the end of the day, for this price tag, this phone is absolutely a killer deal. And there's no doubt about that. I posted the links to this deal down in the description just below the like button. I've also included the links to the screen protectors that I'm using here on this phone, which covers all three glass panels. And since these panels all attract a lot of fingerprints and scratches over time, it's always advisable to have a screen protector of some sort on all these panels. Also, we'll be uploading a lot many more videos in the coming weeks, so we hope that you've already hit the subscribe button and also enabled notifications. And with that, this video is a wrap. See you guys around. Bye bye.